you are one that's he give almost like a leash to. You are supposed to manage it while he said, but make no mistake, I own it.
Come on now.
Yes.
Because as the king, you own the territory. He says, so don't think that car you have is yours.
Amen.
He said, that's mine.
Yep.
I just loaned it to you. Don't think that house you living in is yours.
Come on.
That's mine. He said, don't think that job you're working on is yours. He says, mine. He said, I have absolute ownership of everything. And everything that you have, I give it to you.
Come on.
So he said, never take ownership. Just know that I loaned it to you for a little while.
Yes, come on.
But he
Come
says,
on.
but I am the owner because I am the king.
Come on.
And I own everything. And we're going to get into the scripture that tells you that. Look, he said, also, any king got to have rules that you go by. See, this is what we get into because we don't like to abide by rules. We like to make up our own rules as we go. But Father says, as a king, I set down rules. And you abide by the rules that I give. He said, look, a rule is a prescribed guide for your conduct
Come on.
or your actions.
Come on.
Father says, I done gave you almost like a prescription for your conduct. And sometimes we sick because we don't take our prescription. The Father prescribed and said, this is how I want you to handle this. And soon as we get finished, we're like, yeah, but I'm going to handle it this way.
Yes, come on.
And we're going to do it our way, and then we get what? Sick. Not so much sick in the body, but sick. The whole situation is just sick now. Why? Because we didn't go by his what? Prescribed guide. He said, I got outlines, I got laws and rules that'll tell you how to live a joyous life.
Yes.
But you got to go by what I prescribe because I'm a good king. I ain't going to prescribe nothing for you that's bad for you. He said, look, the laws or regulations prescribed by the founder for observance by its members, which is us. Father says, I exert control, direction, or influence on the passions that rule our minds. Father says, you need to let me come in as king and begin to get some kind of direction and control over the passions that rule your mind. Because the passions that rule our mind tell us to do any and everything.
Yes. Come
And
on.
this is what we be doing. The Father says, as a king, you're not abiding by my prescribed conduct. Look, when he tell us, don't go kill somebody, he know what he mean, and he know why he put that law in place. We don't know it till we go out there and do it, then we get in trouble. And he said, but I understand why I made the rules that I done. It's for your protection. But somehow we think the Father is keeping something from us. Oh, it must be a reason why he told me not to do it. Why do you think he told you not to fornicate? Not to have sex before you marry? Do you think it's just because he didn't want you to ever enjoy that? Or he was trying to be mean or hide something from you?
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason why he tell us not to engage in certain things. Because he know if you do that before you get married, when you get married, now you got to deal with what? Memories. You got to deal with thoughts. You got to deal with pop-ups coming. He said, I already know what you're going to have to deal with, and I'm trying to cut that out.
Come on.
But when you don't abide by my rules, this is what happened. He said, I need to get some direction of the passions that rule over your mind. It means to exercise supreme authority over or control over, especially by curbing or restraining you. Father says, I'm trying to restrain you from getting any more hardship in your life than what you should. But you got to allow me to play the king in your life.
Come on.
You got to allow me to prescribe your rule of conduct. You got to understand that I'm superior and I know what's best for you. You don't know what's best for you. I do. Because why? His knowledge is supreme.
Come on.
He see the situation before you even get into it.
Yes.
And he be trying to curve you or get you to go outside of that, but we keep headstrong because we don't trust the Father's voice when he's trying to tell us something. We think we know best. And the Father says, you have a problem with seeing me how I really am. I'm paramount.
Yes, come
And
on.
when I say I'm paramount, that means I know more than you do.
Yes, come on.
I know what's best for you. He said he needs to be first in importance or prominence. He needs to predominate your mind. It needs to be all about God. The reason you wake up in the morning should be just to do the Father's will.
That's right.
Father, what would you have me to do? Because you are king and I'm a son or daughter in your kingdom. And I only have what I have because you give it
That's
to
right.
me. And so I owe my allegiance for you because without you, Father, I would have nothing.
Yes.
And so we need to give back to him. He said, you got to understand what it means to be a king and live in a kingdom. And we don't understand that. Look, it said the kingdom of heaven is not a democracy, but it is one of absolute authority for God as king. And we are citizens, which is sons and daughters of the kingdom of heaven. And we need to be aware of the differences between the heavenly kingdom and the worldly kingdom in which we live. Because see, what has happened is we mistake this worldly kingdom from how a godly kingdom is supposed to run. And we think we can take the mindset that we have because we grew up in a democracy and we can somehow bring it up over here in the kingdom. He said, but no. There is a difference between the kingdom and a democracy.
Yes.
You can't operate the same unless we change our minds and begin to see kingdom. We gonna forever get it wrong because we keep thinking democracy. In democracy, guess what? You do what feels good to you. You do what you want to do. And if anybody got a problem with it, you just take it up with them. That's what a democracy is. You get to voice your opinion all the time. And because we done grew up like that, we think that when God tells us to do something, that's the time to voice your opinion. That's the time you think you're supposed to go tell God, I don't want to do this. Can we negotiate or can we come up with something as Father says? You think I'm president. You don't understand that I'm king.
Come on.
There is a difference between the two. You just do what the Father says do in the kingdom. You don't get to do it your way. And let's break down a little bit because you need to understand the difference between a democracy versus a kingdom. Or else you're going to always get it wrong. Look, in a democracy, you have a president that's elected by the people. This is what you do on election day and during the primaries and all. People get all hyped up, go to all these the polls and stuff and cast your vote, and you get to listen at each one of the candidates as they run down what they gonna do, what they not gonna do, and you listen to all of them, and in your own mindset you pick which one you think would be best to run the country. You say, well, based upon their views, I think they'll be best. And so you go vote for them. That's in a democracy. You get to do that. But when you're talking about a kingdom,
come on.
The king is not elected. You ain't never finna vote for God.
Come on.
You ain't never finna sit down and listen at this view and say, well, I don't like that, so I'm gonna vote against that. He exists all by himself.
Yes,
he is paramount. Nobody put him in that position. Nobody can take him out of that position.
Come on.
Nobody gets to vote against him. Nobody gets to vote him out. His office is eternal.
Yes.
He has always been king, gonna always be king.
Yes.
And there's nothing that we or anybody else can do about it. He is the almighty king.
Come on.
And we have got to see that. He is not a president. After 4 years, if you don't like him, you get to vote him out.
Come on.
God says, I'm eternal. I ain't going nowhere. My rules don't change. I'm the same today, tomorrow, and every day.
Yes.
What I prescribe for you is what I prescribe for you. I'm not elected, so I don't care. It's my will. If you want to do in my kingdom, you got to abide by his rules because you don't get to vote him out. Look, in a democracy, the president can be voted out. Let him do something you don't like. This is why the president, they get so gray-haired while they're in office. They age so much. Why? Because they don't get no sleep. They trying to please every human being. Can you imagine the stress of a president? You trying to make a law that you trying to get everybody to be pleased with. That ain't gonna happen.
Come on.
The Republicans ain't never finna agree with Democrats. And the Democrats ain't never finna agree with I don't care what law you put out there, somebody's gonna have a problem with it.
Yes.
And you trying not to piss off enough people while you in office so you can get reelected again. And this is where the president makes mistakes. He start appeasing the people. Because if he do sometime what's right, enough people gonna not like it. And now there go his chances for reelection. But the father, guess what the father says? I ain't gotta worry about that. Because my position is eternal.
Come on.
My laws, it doesn't matter if you do not like the Father's rules.
Come on.
They change not.
Come on.
He says they are everlasting. He said, though the heavens and earth fall away, my word will stand forever. He said, it's what it is. I have eternal position. So